chain of 40 tiny coral islands surrounding a lagoon is Eniwetok Atoll in mid-Pacific, part of the Marshall Islands freed from Japan in World War II. Now, historic films made in the spring of 1948 and just released show Eniwetok preparing for heavily guarded and still largely secret tests of new atomic weapons. The test's purpose is to measure atomic effects on thousands of different materials, 30,000 tons of them, not, as at Bikini, to prove military effectiveness. In special towers, automatic cameras will record the explosions. There are no newsmen, no foreign observers present as members of the 10,000-man Task Force T leave shore for safety just before the explosion of America's 6th atom bomb at Eniwetok, now the Atomic Energy Commission's permanent proving ground. Robot planes take off for atmospheric measurements. The bombs will not be dropped from the air. At control stations, all is ready. Now. This is bomb number 6, a new atomic weapon, not an improvement of an old design. The 5 bombs set off in New Mexico, over Japan, and at Bikini are, in scientific terms, already ancient history. The flash of bomb number 6 is seen by shipboard observers. And here is bomb number 7. Seen from a different angle, its death-dealing radioactive cloud spreads for miles above the Pacific. This is bomb number 8. At Eniwetok Atoll, the world's mightiest agent of destruction presents its unspoken and unanswerable argument for peace and for preparedness.
In the Egyptian Red Sea Peninsula of Sinai, where hallowed belief says that Moses received the 10 Commandments, is the ancient monastery of St. Catherine, whose Greek Orthodox monks follow an austere and penitential life, unchanged since the days of the Desert Fathers. In their library are thousands of rare handwritten documents, many of them unread for centuries. Some of them are believed to be portions of sacred scriptures long lost to the world. Now, American experts in their study of these revered manuscripts are examining and photographing one by one 2 million parchment pages in Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Arabic, Aramaic, and other ancient languages. Because of the monks' care, many pages are as fresh and clear as the day they were written. Among the many treasures is a scroll the monks believe is in the hand of the prophet Mohammed. It is documents like this which American scientists are rescuing from the obscurity of the centuries. It's milking time at this ultra-modern dairy in Delano, California, and these cows are heading for the barn. A lukewarm spray stimulates milk hormones before the cows move onto a conveyor line, where they will be fed and milked at the same time. The conveyor, the invention of dairyman H.C. Kane, is the latest addition for subtracting milk. A milkmaid attaches standard milking equipment. The rolling line speeds the cows through at 10 feet per minute. The job is done in 7 minutes, and every 35 seconds, another cow steps into line. Less than an hour is needed to milk a herd of 100 cows. The milk is next processed and bottled. American inventiveness sets up a real production line on the farm.
A collection of 150,000 original models from the U.S. Patent Office is sold in New York. This 1876 children's doorway swing, like this scale, which printed both weights and prices, never succeeded, but the washboard became famous all over the world. This chair bed was designed for crowded living quarters. A cabinet bed is a similar idea. The inventor was ahead of his times, for double-purpose furniture is increasingly popular today. Roller skates are pretty much the same in our streamlined age, but this washing machine, invented in 1866, is a far cry from today's push-button wonders. A spark catcher smokestack to prevent forest fires, and a modern-looking steamer chair. It's a pity for future collectors that the Patent Office no longer requires working models. At Tulane University, Professor Lo Sang Tsai introduces his cooperation machine, designed for a unique experiment in animal relations. Looks complicated? It's really very simple. Into the first compartment go Joe the rat and George the cat. Tradition says they're enemies, but Dr. Tsai has brought them up together from childhood and they love each other, especially since they've learned through experience that neither of them can eat unless he cooperates with the other. Those two floor plates must be pushed at the same time in order to get at the food. What teamwork and what appetites. Now the two animals are separated. So Joe the rat, by stepping on another floor plate, lets George the cat into his compartment. Watch them push those food buttons. See, it's easy. Dr. Tsai believes that if these natural enemies can work together, then people should be able to cooperate even better. And these happy cats and rats really prove his point.
Tennessee, in the mammoth city built by the government to produce the atomic bomb, American scientists are now working also to use atomic byproducts for medical purposes. The laboratories are still guarded against intruders. Inside, behind protective walls, technicians use wheels and dials to handle radioactive iodine, an important locator of cancerous tissues. Even the camera has to peer through telescopes at the dangerous atomic byproducts. A selection of a few drops of precious radioactive iodine is picked up by remote control and transferred to a shipping bottle. Intricate machinery will now carry the bottle down a lead-lined corridor to the packaging room for shipment to a research center. A specially designed heavy lead shipping case is used. The case is checked with a Geiger counter to make sure that no dangerous atomic rays can escape. The case is weighed, and a final warning is pasted on it. At a medical research center, the death-dealing iodine will be used to prolong life. Because iodines find their way to thyroid cancer tissues, radioactive iodines can be used to locate such areas. The patient drinks a highly diluted solution of the radioactive iodine, which gradually becomes concentrated in the cancerous tissue. A Geiger counter reveals the location, increasing the chances of effective treatment. Explosions rock Sicily's mighty Mount Etna, shooting flames high into the air and spewing forth a burning stream of lava. The villagers living on its heaving slopes watch the boiling river of molten rock move toward their homes. The volcano erupts periodically every 6 years, but the present explosion is the worst since the 1920s. Terrified peasants gather together their belongings and flee. The onrushing stream of lava is 20 feet deep and almost half a mile wide. A religious procession from one of the villages in the lava's path goes forth to pray for deliverance, hoping that divine intervention will save them from the angry mountain.
Overlooking the city of Washington is the legislative center of American life, the U.S. Capitol. As our country faces important challenges at home and abroad, the new 82nd Congress convenes. It shows many changes among both Republicans and Democrats. New faces include Democratic Senators Clements of Kentucky, Smith of North Carolina, Hennings of Missouri, Pastore, Rhode Island, Monroney, Oklahoma, Smathers of Florida. Senator Russell Long of Louisiana and veteran Tom Connolly of Texas, Senate Foreign Relations Chairman. Ernest W. McFarland of Arizona is the new Senate Majority Leader. Senator Lyndon Johnson of Texas is Senate Whip. House leaders are Majority Leader McCormick of Massachusetts, Speaker Rayburn of Texas, and J. Percy Priest of Tennessee, House Whip. New Republican senators are Carlson of Kansas, Dirksen of Illinois, and Butler of Maryland. Carlson, 12 years a representative, now a freshman senator. Former Congressman Dirksen defeated Senate Majority Leader Lucas. Butler upset veteran Millard Tidings. Top Republican Senators Milliken of Colorado, Taft of Ohio, and Wherry of Nebraska now lead a party which has cut the Democratic Senate majority to only 2 votes. The workshop of these men, the Capitol building, has, since Washington laid the cornerstone in 1793, been continually rebuilt and repaired to meet the needs of a growing democracy. Last year, Congress moved out for the latest repairs. The work is complete as the 82nd Congress convenes in 1951. Speaker of the House Sam Rayburn and Republican House Leader Joseph W. Martin open the new session. Rayburn, whom fellow congressmen of both parties hold in highest esteem, takes office as Speaker. Now in his 20th term in Congress, Mr. Rayburn enters his 6th term as Speaker of the House, breaking the record set in 1825 by Henry Clay. With the reinforced Republican minority changing the voting lineup, the House chamber itself also has a new look. But the famous portrait of Washington and the Webster plaque, familiar to tourists, are still there. President Truman makes his first appearance in the completely refurbished chamber of the House. Before a joint session of Congress, he delivers his annual State of the Union address. The President asks for strength and unity at home and abroad as he speaks from the rebuilt stand, noticeably different from the great white marble rostrum from which he last addressed Congress. In its brave new surroundings, the 82nd Congress buckles down to strengthen the nation under law for peace or war. A traditional treat for the physics students at the University of Toronto is Professor John Satterley's annual lecture on the properties of liquid air. Professor Satterley, 70, head of the university's physics department, is near retirement, but his science circus, famed throughout Canada, is as exciting as ever. Here's the subject: air turned into liquid at a 300 below zero temperature. That's mighty cool, but the good professor doesn't mind at all. He's been doing this sort of thing for a generation, and he's still at least as spry as any of his pupils. The demonstration begins innocently enough with the professor dropping a few odd objects, a banana, an egg, and so on, into the super frigid liquid air. He prefers fresh eggs. Now a couple of daffodils from the professor's garden, followed by a chunk of rubber tubing. Though the accent is on fun, there's a straightforward scientific reason for each move. This contraption is designed to show the pressure possibilities of liquid air. When the liquid air grows warmer and becomes a gas again, it expands rapidly, a fact which delights the professor and which he doesn't want his class to forget. Now the liquid air is expanding and blowing up the balloon. Now let's see those daffodils. And here's the rubber tube. Shatters like glass. Very interesting, Professor, but what about that balloon? When the professor turns to pyrotechnics, things really get wild. An open jar of liquid air gradually becomes almost pure oxygen and highly inflammable. rugged playing professor of physics as John Satterley plays it, but Toronto students generally remember what he's taught them. What's this, a flying jeep? No, it's a submarine one. At Marineland, Florida, the Army's jack of all trades goes underwater, and news magazine cameras go along with it. The Jeep's motor breathes through a snorkel snorter extension, whose ingenious valve system keeps water out, but lets air in and releases the exhaust. These tests have a practical purpose. All new Army Jeeps will have waterproof engines and ignition systems to run through water up to their windshields. Trucks, too, go underwater. At nearby Rainbow Springs, Florida, the new Army Ordnance truck, the Rio Eager Beaver, takes to water like a duck. The driver breathes with an underwater lung, and the truck's motor, like the Jeep's, uses the same snorkel snorter arrangement to keep going underwater. The 2.5-ton truck, officially called the M34, has been designed for heavy-duty work, including submersion. It can stay underwater for as long as 4 hours with the motor running. It'll be especially useful in amphibious landings and river crossings, as in Korea. Oops, where'd all that water come from? Some railroads go from coast to coast, but this one, although it's in perfect operating order, never gets away from home. It's the Union Connecting Railroad, probably the largest zero-gauge model railroad in the world. The UCRR is owned and operated by the New York Society of Model Engineers. The society includes doctors, lawyers, advertising men, almost everybody except railroad men. They've been working on this system for 25 years, and they don't call it finished yet. It takes 100 man-hours of work for each foot of track. The UCRR, on a scale of 1/4 of an inch to a foot, duplicates actual railroad operations, even to round tables and hand cars. Part of our history and of our daily lives, railroading has a powerful lure for most Americans. In these unassuming buildings at Chalk River, set in a corner of the Ontario bush country, some of Canada's top scientists are bombarding the atom in a $5 million atomic pile, the most powerful of its kind in the world. Inside a huge concrete cylinder, billions of neutrons move at speeds up to 10,000 miles per second, producing new materials that even now are radically changing the 20th century world. One such product is the cobalt-60 isotope, on which Chalk River Administrator Dr. D.A. Keyes and his assistants are working. The cobalt-60 isotope is an important factor in peacetime radiography for X-ray pictures and studies of the sun, and the Chalk River plant is the only one which can produce such cobalt. Much of this work, of course, is secret and cannot be photographed. Although the plant can be converted to war needs and has helped speed the H-bomb in American plants, the Chalk River atomic pile is planned for peace, producing aids to agriculture, medicine, science, and industry. Their significance almost forgotten in the memories of man are the mute, mysterious wrecks of past civilizations. This is Baalbeck, a magnificent ruin in southern Syria, more than 20 centuries ago as important and sophisticated a metropolis as are New York and Paris today. The temples of Baalbeck are a riddle to scholars from the modern mechanized world. Today, no one really knows what engineering techniques put these stately buildings together. Some of their single blocks of stone weigh as much as 200 tons. Baalbeck's origin is unknown. Baal, to whom the whole city was a monument, was a mysterious deity of the Near East associated with the sun. The Bible contains denunciations by Hebrew priests and prophets of the idolatry of Baal and his lesser gods. When the Romans conquered Syria, they took over Baalbeck's gods, giving them Latin names and developing the great temples. Arabs, Egyptians, Crusaders, Mongols, and Turks besieged and pillaged the city. Its temples became Christian, Mohammedan, then pagan again. Finally, ravaged by an earthquake, Baalbeck was abandoned. Its remaining inhabitants, having long forgotten the skills of their ancestors, moved into mud huts, leaving Baalbeck, her gold and jewels looted, her altars shattered, to stand solitary and forlorn, her crumbling magnificence an object of wonder and mystery to the traveler and the scholar.
At Climax, Colorado is the world's highest observatory. Here, 11,000 feet above sea level, Dr. Walter Orr Roberts and Mrs. Roberts ski to their unique job of probing the cosmic unknown. In this Harvard College observatory, Dr. Roberts studies the sun's surface with the aid of a coronagraph, one of 3 in the world. The coronagraph, by imitating an eclipse of the sun, makes visible the sun's edges, normally unobservable. Through its use, the quality of radio reception, greatly affected by sun disturbances, can be forecast. Amazing motion pictures photographed through the coronagraph by the McMath-Hulbert process show the violent motion of tremendous solar upheavals called prominences. Crimson-hued clouds of gas rise to a height of 100,000 miles. With the face of the sun blocked out by the coronagraph, tremendous erupting arches are clearly seen. Scientists work to unravel the mystery of the sun and its influence upon the lives of us all. At White Sands, New Mexico, special movie cameras are fitted on the side of a rocket as Army and civilian scientists photograph the Earth from the highest altitudes ever attempted. These amazing pictures of the Earth are taken as the rocket shoots upward at 4,000 miles an hour with unbelievable smoothness. At 75 miles, the camera can see 1 million square miles of the Earth's surface. The river is the Rio Grande. El Paso lies by the bend in the center. At a record altitude of 135 miles, another camera shooting through a circular aperture shows 24 states at once. Its fuel exhausted and trailing smoke, the 5.5-ton rocket begins a dizzily spinning spiral descent, and the camera catches a weird panorama. Such experiments foreshadow new horizons of science, new modes of travel, new information about the stratosphere, and a new view of the world in which we live.